Going on, people? Um, I've got a lot of feedback on several of my boxing videos, especially the one where I talk about Cotto versus Pacquiao. Obviously, there's a lot of Pacquiao fans out there, so I expected that. I've got some people saying that they believe Cotto will beat Pacquiao and whatnot. I stick by my prediction. Um, Pacquiao would win that. If they do fight, Pacquiao will win that fight. Too fast, much more skillful. And they were talking about Cotto's left hook to the body and how Pacquiao could be vulnerable to that. People, get real. Pacquiao's trainer is Freddie Roach, okay? If anyone knows about Pacquiao's vulnerability to the left hook to the body, it will be him. He wouldn't throw him in the ring against Miguel Cotto without preparing him for that. So don't even put that into the equation. Miguel Cotto has a lot of heart, and he's skillful. I respect his boxing skills, but compared to Pacquiao, nah. Pacquiao is faster, more accurate, and quicker on his feet too. Cotto is somewhat slow. He doesn't move much. He's a little stationary and kind of tries to, you know, blow, trade blows at close range. While Pacquiao is very much capable of going in, throwing his punches and getting out of range very quickly. So no, if they do fight in November, I believe that Pacquiao is going to win that fight. Now, moving on to Pacquiao Mayweather, which is the fight we all want to see. Mayweather has a lot of haters and a lot of fans. And there are many people right now saying that Pacquiao would beat him and this and that. I believe that I respect Pacquiao a lot because he doesn't seem to care who he goes against. You know, granted, there's always some degree of politics in boxing, but this is a guy who's not very big, but he's willing to go against the big dudes. So I respect him a lot for that because I think he's doing boxing a favor by being very courageous. Mayweather is more of a businessman, okay? His talent in boxing is undeniable. Anyone who knows boxing knows that Mayweather's talent is unique. But he's also a businessman. He doesn't go into fights he doesn't feel he has to go into unless there's money to be made. And that is a good and bad trait. It's good for him because he knows the money, the matches that will give him the most money. It's bad for the fans because they don't always get to see the fights that they would like to see him in. I don't think he will avoid Pacquiao. I think if he does fight Marquez, his next opponent will very likely be Pacquiao, depending on the outcome of Pacquiao Cotto. Um, and I know I'm gonna have to stick by my own belief. As of right now, you know, yeah, Pacquiao has speed and power, but Mayweather, in my opinion, is a better boxer. That's what it comes down to. Because you know, Pacquiao might be able to go in and swarm him with punches, but you know, we know that that's not what it takes to beat Mayweather. You know, everyone always says that you have to put pressure on Mayweather and that's how you beat him. No, you don't, because he will just time you. That's how he does. Knowing Mayweather, the first few rounds he will trade with you, sit back, use his defense a little, mess around in the corner, get your timing, and then around round 3 or 4, he starts dancing around and then picks you apart. And you can't hit him anymore because he can time your jabs and hooks and crosses. That's how he does. I'm serious. Watch all of his fights. He always looks as if he's in trouble in the first few rounds. And don't forget, he can take a punch. It's not easy to knock him out because the way he stays, it's hard to get a clean shot at his chin. And he can take body punches because he's constantly moving. He doesn't stay one place. He moves around the ring, moves his upper body a lot, and he's very good with the whole Philly shell thing. So it's hard to get a clean shot at him. Trust me, there've been many powerful punchers. Undu, Curly, they all tried to get him clean. And sometimes they did, but he has a good chin. The guy can take a punch. There's a reason he hasn't even been knocked out in all of his fights. The guy's not just lucky, he's smart and he's fast. So if they were to fight, I could see Pacquiao going in, trying to swarm him. and he will give him a very hard time because Pacquiao is a very terrible. Um, he's a terrific pressure fighter. If he wants to be, he can put the pressure on you like no one can. But if there's anyone in boxing that can handle it, it's Mayweather. So it comes down to whether Pacquiao's defense will be able to prevent Mayweather from getting in. Because once Mayweather starts to time you, he starts countering your will. I'm saying, like, if you watch his fights, you will see that. Like, once he's comfortable, he's got you. He throws in the jabs, he throws in the crosses, he plays around with combos, goes back outside, dances around you, frustrates you, goes in again, does it. And it might look boring to the occasional fan. It's not fun to watch if you don't appreciate skills. I always enjoy his fights because I see him do things because I used to box. And those who box can appreciate good defense. And I see him do things that, I'm like, wow, that's impressive. It's not very easy to pull that off against that fighter. And I see Mayweather doing that constantly. He's extremely accurate. Once he gets you, once he can time you, that's it. And if you think that he'll get knocked out before then, oh, think again. That's why he has the best defense in the division. The only guy I can think of that had better defense overall was maybe Whittaker. But Mayweather as a boxer, the way he fights, you've got to admire that, even though you don't like the man. And I haven't seen enough to convince me that Pacquiao will beat him right now. Because size-wise, Pacquiao can bully him. Power, yeah, Pacquiao has power. But Mayweather has faced guys with power too. Heck, Mayweather has faced harder punchers than Pacquiao. Yeah, Pacquiao punches hard, but he doesn't punch. I don't think he punches harder than Undu or Curly or De La Hoya in his prime. And the De La Hoya that fought Mayweather looked a lot better than the De La Hoya that fought Pacquiao. And before you say that Pacquiao made him look bad, watch the two fights. De La Hoya didn't even really try. He was slow. Freddie Roach was the guy that noticed it. He said when he noticed that De La Hoya wasn't really in the fight, he told Pacquiao to go all out. It wouldn't have been as easy for Pacquiao to beat him if De La Hoya had fought the way he fought against Mayweather. And De La Hoya hit harder than Pacquiao. So don't think that because Pacquiao has power that he will bully Mayweather and knock him out right away. That's not going to happen. Trust me. Unless it's an off night for Mayweather, which I doubt. So for right now, until I see the fight with Marquez and see how Mayweather looks, I still have to go with Floyd. By decision, a very boring decision at that. Pacquiao will put up a nice show and Floyd will be boring as usual for those who don't, who want to watch a knockout. But he will get a decision out of it. Probably a split decision. Because, he's not overly aggressive at the beginning. He only gets aggressive towards the end. But I could see him getting a decision in that fight. What else is there? I'm gonna make a video on a fight that I really want to see. I want to see Paul Williams against Mosley. Yes. I think that's a fight that'll be entertaining. For a purist, for someone who just appreciates good boxing, not knockouts or vicious, aggressive fighting. I like to watch the science in the sport. And that's a fight that I'd be really, I'd really like to see. I'm gonna make a video on that, and I'm also gonna make a video on Fedor Emelianenko versus Brock Lesnar because there's been a lot of trash talking in regards to that. So yeah, that's about it. Hit me up if you have any comments or make video responses. I'll respond to you guys later.